Okay, I wanted to do a quick video on what to do in the early season in Yardsox. This is assuming that I just set you up. There's going to be some new people, but the clubs are already in there. The tournament's already in there. So I'm not going to go over how to set up a club, how to set up a tournament. This is strictly for what to do in the early season. I'm going to try to keep this quick and do other videos, and I already have a few on tournaments when we get later on, but I wanted to focus on just what a club administrator needs to do early in the season. You have practices going on, and so forth. And you're actually getting your kids signed up for the tournament season. So that's what's important right now and what I wanted to cover. As far as the archers go, your archers, if they were in a tournament last year, you're using Yardsox for your club last year, they're already in there. But you can go in, and I wanted to cover a few things on them. So each archer will have an archer dashboard, and if they get a login, they'll see a lot of this as well. Maybe a few buttons are missing. But what happens is that you get this, and I wanted to go when you add a new archer or if you update the other archer information, some of the stuff on this screen. I will update this at some point with an asterisk for what is required. But there is a few things on here I got questions on. The birth date is not necessary, but if someday they change it or use it for a type of archery where the exact birthday does matter, doesn't hurt anything, but the birth year is needed. What I've had to do in the past, sometimes when somebody signs up not in Yardsox and just gives us their age, is I've had to plug a birth year in there. But I would uncheck this birth year validated because I was guessing at it, and the system works off of birth year for everything, so I can't really go around it. So what I would do, if you uncheck this, it would turn red in a lot of screens, and then you would need to go in if they show up for a tournament or made by email and validate their birth year, so we know we got them in the right age class. Of course, about them receiving emails, you can see that I get a lot of questions on the target face, and there's different ways to change it. It can be changed at the tournament and not tell anybody. It could be changed at the tournament and just change it there. I think the only way to change it on all future tournaments is to change it in their Archer profile, and then it would go out to the future tournaments. I'm going to check that this year and make sure that's working right, because there were people that say, "Oh, well, I have to change my target face at every tournament." It's not a big deal. It's not it's not a game stopper, but it's something. And of course, down at the bottom, if you're setting up a new archer, the organization is Joed Indoor for this year. Of course, it does do outdoor tournaments. It's set up for that. I've done other types of archery and the FIDO and adults and all that. So that just helps the different organizations that Archer is a part of. All right. So let's talk about the users. Okay. So if there is a parent account attached to this, it will show down here under your Archer profile what that username is. And that would be any Archer accounts if they're logged in on their own, going in and setting up their time preferences for tournaments or whatever. And so let's talk about tournaments. So the 2025 tournaments are in there. If we go back to tournament dashboard, actually Archer dashboard, and go down here and say tournament registration, you'll see the upcoming tournaments and that. So if you are in a club admin like we are right now, let's pick a couple, and I want to get Chieftain in here to do it. And you go in here and I am the Chieftain club admin. Falcon, so I have the ability to confirm times on certain things. NSSA, I don't have the ability to confirm a time for an archer because it's their tournament and they're on Yardsox, so only they can do it. But you have the ability from what we've set up to set up preferences, and you can go out to 5. It's very helpful. So let's sign Nathaniel up for 3. And if you're not seeing who you want or which ones you want, just make sure you check your filters. Always check your filters up here if you don't think you're seeing what you need to be seeing. So we'll update that. And let's look at this a different way. Now, on the the admin for Chieftain. So, and I had Chieftain Joe add as a tournament. So let's go to each of the different selections in the home has a dashboard. So if I come under the tournament dashboard, and you can do this for other tournaments as well. In fact, let's do that. Let's select a different tournament and say, let's look at Falcon, because we did sign somebody up for that. Okay, you'll see a cut down list of options because I'm not the club admin. They're not on Yardsox. And come in here and you'll see Nathaniel Booth. I had this, so if I wanted to see the other Chieftain archers and sign them up, we could do it this way, and give us their time preferences. Ultimately, when Falcon confirms the times, you'd want to come in here, or somebody comes in here and does the time confirmation. Okay, so one thing I'll leave before that is the Archer dashboard again. Is as you're building this, then they start looking, their Archer tournament schedule starts to build out. So here's Nathaniel signed up for 3, has not got any confirmed yet. That's fine. That's right where you would be this time of the year. Okay, so let's go back to the home screen. As far as that's about Archer sign up, and if they're coming in and doing their own sign up, they come in and they're told to come on here under tournament registration and put in their time preferences. All they're able to do is set time preferences. As soon as that announces, I'll go in and change the status of the tournament, which will lock out the parents from changing their preferences. From that point, only the club admins can change preferences, change confirm times, etc. So there is some logic there and some safeties put in play. Okay, so now if we come to the club dashboard, you get some general information, but let's talk about the club tournament schedule. So if you want to go, this one goes tournament by tournament. So if you want to see your club's schedule, that's just those few things. Again, this is a test system. Don't worry about what I just put in there. It's not going to reflect the reality. And I come up here a lot to go to the different dashboards. I think that works well. Practice scores. There's a few different ways. I'm working with Crowfoot right now on practice sessions, which is basically cut down tournament for just practices and electronic scoring. If you want to get into that, let me know. But if we come back to the club dashboard, if you want to put in practice scores, you can very simply do so under add scores. It'll ask you for shooting format. You can change that. It says today we're going to do a practice. You can give it some more information if you want. October 16 practice, and I was working on Nathaniel. So it's showing the next pin at 200. So let's say he shot at half in 201. You don't have to put in second half, etc. And we could also put in, how many ever you want to do at one time, as far as their scores, and you say add. So what happens then is that it'll come back here if you want to do more scores. You don't have to do them all in one batch. You can do 2 and then 3. But if we go back to the club dashboard now, there's also a merit list. And what you'll see, I didn't know that happened, is that practice kicked off a merit jump. And so this is I think it actually generates an email now out to the club admin, says, hey, you've had one to approve. So if that wasn't by an accident, the club admin, being me, was one for Chieftain, can come in here and it gives you different options. You can approve or delete it. If you delete it, it just goes away like it never happened, and they remain a black merit. If you approve it, that's the point they move to blue merit. But it'll give you a little awarded button here just as a reminder to give them their physical pin. And then you can click awarded and it will go away. All right, that's practice scores, merits. Last thing I want to talk about, I get a lot of questions on this, is as far as your up over here is a club admin, you would have the ability to update your club profile. And there's some general things. You can see who your club administrators here. I've set up a lot of these, but you have the ability to set up your own club admin. So if you give them a username, first name, last name, and an email, and add it, it will send them out an email to that email address to get them logged in as an admin. As far as I believe it will, if it's an existing user ID, that's a little special case, is it will just adjust and make them a club admin. There are people out there that use the same login as club admin, and then they have their kids attached to it, so that works as well. We've did this. Club devices is something new. Working with Crowfoot on that, they're the only ones that have them here. But this would be like if you have a tablet for scoring, and it's always going to be logged in as the same username, and just remain there. So they unlock the device, they go into Yardsox, and it just takes off for a scoring session. Down here, this is very useful. Once you have parents logging in and doing their own time preference setting, you will see a list of all the users in your club that have come out and attached themselves to there. So you see, like, and here's a good case. There is a multi-kid ability. You see the Hellers are all attached to one account. So they can come in and set up time preferences for all three at the same time. And that is, let me see, that is it. Thank you very much. I hope this is very helpful.